Okay, I think it's ready now.
Alrighty. Well, I've managed to implement since after we've spoken playlist handling in terms of the player. So I'll just go ahead and do that. The listings are here. I'm emulating right now through a Nexus 7. So it'd be a swipe up to scroll for more results. And I don't know if we demoed this before, but you can filter, closure, or just the keywords. And I'm gonna add in a function that when you click on one of these results, it'll expand. The div will expand to show more information about this individual result. So that'll be per result based on things in the JSON file. So once it's added, we'll add this one, and we'll add 3 of them. See in the console, I have it printing out the order, and it's just basically the unique title of each video. We have what doesn't work so well on a mouse base, but we can reorder. We can also delete by swiping over this way. And I'm going to try and make this a little bit more obvious because I feel like these dots aren't a strong enough indicator of ability. I might have probably on first run a tooltip that'll show like either an undo, like if you delete something accidentally, it'll show, would you like to undo that? So once that's ready, once the playlist is ready, I'll add another one. We have 3 items, and those are the order. We'll send it play. And the way I have it functioning now, which took me a little bit to implement because of the way the player reads the source, the DOM loads, and it reads the source. I have to reload the actual video, which shouldn't be an issue. It goes down the list. The video's here. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound or not. Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
No. So we have this div opens up, and it basically this just reads. The playlist handling is actually handled on the in the JavaScript, and it swaps the source for this. So it's one video tag, and it swaps the source, then reloads the thing, and then it's basically next, and it plays. It doesn't play automatically yet. I'm gonna have once, since we need statistics and stuff, I'm gonna pull for the time, and I believe last time we had talked about this, we were gonna leave the next forward and back because this is basically patient mode, which is restricted. I'm going to remove this option for patients, and I'm going to leave the neck forward and back, but it's going to report that a video was either skipped or how far they got into the video, and have that on a results page. Yeah, so it just goes through the playlist, and I'll have this automatically play once you hit next. And since there's only 3 items in the playlist, it's completely tied to this list JSON. So yeah.
I wonder how it looks like if you maximize the screen player.
I believe it'll actually, yeah, because since this is emulating a Nexus 7, it'll look like this. I think I can trigger that to possibly happen automatically upon while in the doctor view. If I hit play, I can run a sequence of events to trigger that full screen. I believe. I'm pretty sure. If not, I can always extend it to beyond the boundaries of the entire player, because I know the patient view is going to be more restricted than the doctor view. Yeah, so the size of it that it is now, I was thinking about. So I'm going to remove this once the patient view is entered, because this isn't something a patient needs to see. But the playlist itself here, I'm considering implementing a feature that they could possibly reorder their own playlist if need be, but I'm not sure whether or not that'd be giving the patient too much control over, because I mean, there's a forward and backward, so presumably if they wanted to, or if they had to skip a video, or if the doctor was in the, go ahead.
Would that be something feasible to add that as set of preference that to maybe for certain group of clients, we don't want them to have this like reordering the sequence because probably it makes sense to look at chapter 1, first before looking at chapter 2, something like that.
Okay.
But then for the target audience, who are the medical students, maybe give them the option saying that hey, they will be able to have the privilege to reorder the
Hmm.
media files. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, the so you're saying the reordering capability would be based on the
Uh,
user using it or on the patient versus doctor?
I think would be based on the actual users category. Um, Maybe we can consider something like a role-based users. Um, because the target audience would be, I think, the providers,
Hmm.
the patients, and also the students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me write that down. So patients.
Mhm. Patients, providers, and students.
Okay. So I'm assuming the patient would not be able to reorder.
Yeah, I think that would be best because they probably are the one, they don't really need the feature because
Okay.
it makes sense for the providers to
Know what's
select
best.
sequence, yeah, the correct sequence, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel as if the showing the playlist, because as it is now, the once sent, the playlist is still there visibly. Do you think that would be
I think I kind of like the playlist to be visible if they scroll over,
mhm.
so that they can tell like how many remaining materials still there, or they need to, so they can estimate. Um, it might be also helpful to, let's say, when to show kind of like the length of when it's like a video,
Mhm.
to see how many minutes for kind of like a brief description of how many minutes for those video.
Yeah, I was going to put that on the bottom. I was actually going to have a um, so there would be an automatic full screen option, but
Mm-hmm.
once exiting full screen or once switching from video to video, it would have the title and then the description that was in the results page. I was also planning on implementing if we were going to keep this playlist, which it sounds like we're going to, I was going to dim each item as they're being played or as they're finished, so the
Uh-huh.
user would know which one was played, or even at a glance, the doctor could look at the playlist, whether or not it's open or not, just by clicking this button and seeing this one was played, this one was played, this one was played, and yeah, trying to relay as much information as simply as possible without cluttering
Yes.
with a bunch of text. I think the text down here would be okay because it's describing what you're watching. I wasn't too sure about implementing text here, considering how small it is and the visual information that's
Mm-hmm.
shown here. So yeah,
Yeah.
but definitely. So leave the playlist, no reorder, and yeah, dim indicator. So for the student, would they be able to reorder?
Um, they should be able, yeah, give them the options to reorder. Yes.
Okay, and obviously provider as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, Now the initial plan was to from here once we get the results of the full played video, it would be probably a combination of two things: a Boolean of whether or not the video was completed, and whether or not and if not, at what point it was skipped. So
Mm-hmm.
say it was like in the middle of the video, and then maybe they accidentally hit it or whatever, it would report back the time and keep that as part of the results. But once that's all finished, once they hit the end of the playlist, um, I would presumably have some sort of password that the student or, well, the provider would put in to get to the results page because we don't want the patient to see the results page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Correct.
definitely. Yes.
Okay.
And so for those tracking on the time spent and all those statistic stuff, where do you guys plan to store those data? Is it like Google Analytics or?
Well, since I figured we would use the local storage and have an option to send, or at least have it locally stored to have it pulled off of for because I'm assuming some of these sites do not have internet access, and shooting off a series of data to a
Mm-hmm.
no internet would not work out very well. But I mean, I could possibly have both. If internet is detected, I could send it obviously as a JSON or a JSON file or string or
Mm-hmm.
any number of things. But I would assume we want to be as flexible as possible when it came to lack of
Mm-hmm.
internet, considering the locations this would be used in.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So, like after storing those statistics in the local device, um, what actions need to be taken in order to gather those information back to like central server? Is it like when the next time they connect to the server and stuff like that, or is something that may be in the next phase of the project?
Um, hmm. It would seem like, especially with the integration of video management, which should be happening next, now that the playlist and functionality is working, I assume it would be part of that, because in order to manage the videos that are either on the tablet or not, we'll have to be connecting to something. So I would assume that's the same back end that either has the videos hosted that I can pull and check to see whether or not the videos are on the tablet, and then once the results are in, or maybe not. I mean, it would probably, since it's personalized data, I would assume it would go through the the OpenMRS system, and that would be a separate. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know that requires a little road mapping, I think.
Okay. Um, so I think kind of like right now the UI looks very clean, which is good.
Hmm.
Um, and also like that you plan to add the name of the media file at the bottom on the main screen, and also the length of the video attached to each one. Um, just wonder if how hard it is to, let's say, on the playlist on the left side,
Hmm.
when the user roll over, would that be uh, something that you can add? Let's say when they roll over, it just displays the name on top of the video, so that at least that they have a little bit more information to know what those might be.
Um, it's not. Yeah, the implementation would be easy. The only thing that I have to basically translate over is the fact that since it's on a tablet, there's no
In
rollover
display.
technically. It's more of a drag over, but I can,
Mm-hmm.
or a single tap. Because
Mm-hmm.
so as of now on a tablet, you'd hold down for it to reorder, and that
Mm-hmm.
would be in doctor mode. But if a doctor wants some more information, yeah, they could just click it once and have it pop
Mm-hmm.
up either in the middle or as a tooltip or something. Because I do plan on implementing basically tooltips um, for the user or the doctor or the provider or the student to know what each action does, because there's a very limited number of things you can do on a tablet with just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I would assume just touching it would come up with a title that would probably fade out, so as to not to clutter the user interface, because I've noticed that too much clutter, because I tried putting a title here, too much clutter makes it very.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, some of them are pretty long as well.
Hmm. I'm going to refresh the page. So like for this, I try to stay, because I know a lot of these descriptions are multi-line, and I try to keep it uh, pretty dynamic and have it obvious. I guess I got to adjust some of this line spacing, but I want the lines between results and between playlists to be heavily implied without actually being there, because I'm a fan of
Mm-hmm.
white space. But um, once clicking, I would have probably these, or it, like, so say I wanted to get more information about this, I'd click anywhere within this horizon, and since I haven't experimented with it, I would want everything to fade except for the result, and while the result expands out to show more of the thing. So I could probably do that with the playlist as well, and just have it, for example, pop down here in between the results, and it would just have the title, and then maybe even fade out, or just on top of it maybe.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, put that down there. Okay.
And did Martin mention or Wayne mention something about like tagging the adding text to the media files?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what round of this would be implemented in, whether or not it'd be the
Like a future version or something?
yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, as it stands, this filters by anything in the in in the um in the results.
Mm-hmm.
So, medication, and anything that contains the filter.
Mm-hmm.
So the tags, I'm not going to say they would be redundant. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can actually implement them in this. Would you want them to be visible? Because I guess
Um,
that's the question.
yeah, I think because of the screen size, it's a little bit tricky what to actually display.
Hmm.
So the main reason we want to use the text is that we are going to have like hundreds of different media files or documents.
Hmm.
Um, that's why we want to add the text. So when let's say that hey, we have 50 documents or videos for medical students, we can just say that hey, this is year one medical student, so that they can only search for year one medical students tag, and then they can see all the list and then try to finish one by one.
Okay.
That's the main reason because it's going to be like hundreds of files.
Yeah. So this would be basically the initial filtering would happen at the beginning based on the type of student using it. If we're going with the student example.
Yeah, we can. So like we should give the administrator like the option what tag to add to each file. Each file can have multiple tags as well because some file may be suitable for multiple purposes.
Hmm.
So let's say like adherence, like your first video adherence. Yes, it's medication adherence, and then it could be also maybe we can add like this is actually adult adherence, and we will add like an adult tag.
Hmm.
So when doing different combination of tags, and then they can narrow down much faster searches
Hmm.
result. And also some file can be used for multiple purposes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Win had a comment display it as a small text element under the title probably. We might talk about that, but it seems like creates quite a bit of cluster on the playlist. That's why we talk about maybe to have something hop over or tap over and kind of like pop up the title or other information.
Hmm. I can actually based on I could probably put like a little since the thumbnails are small, the real estate's kind of hard to work with the way it is now, because I know if we're using the Nexus 7, it's kind of small, and I want to focus more on this, and the playlist is secondary. But if I put maybe a dimmed box on top and have the title on at all times, I could do that. Um, I tried doing the title just on top, and then obviously the only issue is that with the thumbnails that I've chosen for these in particular, it blocks faces sometimes, and sometimes it's considering the modular state of the thumbnails and how each one is different. It might cover someone's face, and I don't know whether or not I don't know. It seems kind of
Yeah.
appropriate for some, but not appropriate for another. So.
Mm-hmm. But I think that right now, even just this UI looks very clean and neat.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe just adding the tag options, um, and also just tap over on the item on the playlist, and then just give a little bit more metadata, more description of the file.
Hmm.
I think those probably would be good enough.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna reiterate, keeping it less cluttered is something that I think would really help user.
Yes, it's very nice and clean, which is very nice.
Thank you.
Win, do you have any comments or suggestions?
It's really good.
Thank you.
I've seen it, so but I like it.
Thanks. Was there because I wasn't fully aware of whether or not this would be on um, the Nexus 7s that I'm accustomed to, or whether or not it's the Nexus 7 that's the newer generation. Because I believe, and I know we talked about
Yeah, it's the first generation.
first generation. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because the resolutions are different, and I've made this to be dynamic. I honestly haven't tested on Nexus 7 too, but let me try it now. Whoops. It should be. Yeah, it should scale properly. I thought the resolutions were different. Huh. Thought it was higher than that. Well, yeah, so I've made it to scale. The only ones that I haven't, the only types of devices I haven't really tested are very small screens, which I'm sure there can be, some compromise, especially with this top bar being so big. I could probably shrink that down on a smaller device, but I mean, do you know whether or not the devices are subject to change or?
So I think the first version, I think we target the Nexus 7 first generation, but then as the enhancement goes, and I think later on we're going to use it for the Huawei Y210 model mobile phone.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Huawei is like a Chinese, it's a Chinese brand. Let me just find it for you for a second.
Okay.
I post the link on the chat.
Okay.
That's the one that I think probably would be used as well.
Okay. Where's the dimensions on this? Ooh, that is tiny. Cool. Okay. Yeah, more than likely I'll have to have a trigger for this resolution, because I mean, as it stands, if this gets shrunk down to that size, I'm sure it'd be very illegible.
But what I think right now is really targeted for the Nexus 7, which works great. But later on, probably for the enhancement, we'll target smaller, handheld devices. Yes.
Okay. Cool. So the roadmap would be almost certain to implement that device?
Yes, that's the device that most a couple mobile projects they purchased. I think probably a couple hundreds of them.
Okay.
So I think those would be the devices that we need to have the media files working well over there as well.
Okay. I'll look into the video capability of these, because I mean, I'm using standard HTML5 for the device for Nexus 7, so I may have to have a separate version for the smaller devices. But yeah, that's going to be done.
Yeah. It's going to be challenging. Tiny screen.
Oh yeah. In fact, I've already got ideas. I think instead of this playlist, I think the playlist within the results itself with maybe a highlight indication or something that it's on the. That is a tiny device.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably something like when you tap on that, it's going to have like option list or something like that, and then hide it, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a challenge with the smaller devices is using the most space to the best of the user's advantage.
It's very challenging because like we're trying one of the projects we're trying to have like mobile EMR for the device, and everyone wants to have everything that they would like from EMR, but then the handheld is so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always challenging that
Nice to meet you.
they want to display more stuff, but then how too much sometimes is hard to use as well. So
Yeah.
have to find the balance somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've got them. We've got to use them.
Yeah, this is very nice. I like
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
It's very, like the simpler it looks, actually the harder it is.
I'm sorry?
No, I said, look, for things like that looks simple and clean, actually it takes more effort to make.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people always make things very crowded with
Mm-hmm.
lots of cluster, and which is not easy to use. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very
Yeah.
nice. I like it.
I prefer simple because I mean visually I like it better than cluttered, but there's obviously an understanding when you're presented with something for the first time. Your eyes have to scan through it to understand it, and the more there is, the harder time you get understanding what does what. So hopefully I can relay the information properly.
Ada, can you hear me?
Oh, portrait mode. I hadn't thought of that. Let me
Yeah, I was just wondering because we will use like
yeah. Let me see. Let's see. I know that Chrome has that accelerometer. I'm not sure what the rotation aspect of it is. Was it? I guess it's this, isn't it? Whoops. Do you happen to know the way to set it on the portrait mode with this emulator?
No, I don't.
Hmm.
Maybe pick one of the phone.
Yeah, yeah. Oops. Nexus 5 good. Okay, so clearly not optimized for portrait mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can be implemented. I could probably, since it's long ways, I could probably have, well, yeah, we wouldn't want it too small,
Mm-hmm.
but we still want to use the, you're talking about portrait mode on the Nexus though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
on the Nexus.
So hopefully with the Nexus portrait mode, I would definitely get more, the aspect ratio is different, so I'd get more width.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, well, let me go back to Nexus 7 and then go to screen. And, oh, I didn't. Okay. Screen. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I have more width there, so I can work with that, and I can move things about. So yeah, this seems possible. I just have to have a a neater structure for it.
Yeah, or probably following like the I don't know, the way like Facebook do it. Have some of the I forgot what application does that. You know, the one with uh, collapsible sidebar and then put the playlist over there. I don't know.
Um, Hold on, I'm gonna try and emulate my Facebook page with because I honestly don't remember what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Emulate screen slip. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is just displaying it on the page as if it were on the Nexus, or are you talking about the app?
Mm-hmm.
Facebook app? Yeah, let me open up my phone. I honestly don't remember what it looked like.
No, Facebook changed the way they display it apparently.
Yeah. From what I'm looking at, the entire Well, let's see. Let me turn mine on that way. Because it's basically, Facebook is kind of like this in the fact that the bar is always there and it's just a simple scroll, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's a side menu when you hit
Do you have
something.
Imager application?
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Uh, hold on. Let me send you the link.
you. Okay. Oh, the Imager app?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I actually think I know what you're talking about. Let me get the app since I haven't seen the app.
Yeah.
If I can find my Play Store. There it is. The official app, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Oh, I'm not even on Wi-Fi. I've been having trouble connecting to IU Secure. This whole
Yeah, it's
mess.
always on and off.
Yeah. Well, 42 seconds left on this download. Let's yeah. Oh, that's interesting. The viewport. Hmm. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, with the squares? Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. What is it called? I forgot.
Oh, I saw the L preview,
Mm-hmm.
and they mentioned it because it's like they're. I mean, obviously they've been implementing this, but they're
They're dropping it?
no. I guess they were showing examples and when to use it and how properly to use it, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a long talk about design and the new design of Android L,
Mm-hmm.
which I tried to take inspiration for in this app, but I don't know whether or not I got too much of it. Simplicity was the whole thing. Simplicity and colors based
Yeah.
on what the content is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So you're saying so like Imager in the sense that it's a tiled set of images, and then like if you click one, it'll pop up with a description as if like so say the text wasn't here like Imager and it was just thumbnails.
Um, I don't know. I think I like this one, but I was mentioning about the menu. If you press the menu, it will bring up the
Oh, on top of I see.
yeah.
Yeah, that's slick. I like that. So yeah, so I guess with the way it is, and then the menu instead of pushing to the side would overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you
Okay.
already have that three dots thing on the top left corner.
Mhm.
So pressing that one will bring up the playlist, and
Mhm.
then you're scrolling over the list of the videos.
Yeah.
Pressing it, it will add it to the playlist. I think something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense, especially for portrait mode.
Yeah.
If I implement that in portrait mode, I may try doing it in landscape mode as well, because there'd be no sense in because the hierarchy here that I tried to show is since we're basically doing a search and filtering the top bar most
Mm-hmm.
important,
Mm-hmm.
and then the results, and then behind that would be the playlist. But I would assume that the importance of the playlist is not going to overshadow the results just because it's on top. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another thing they talked about at the talk is the the hierarchy of importance and the shadows. They're all about shadows now. You should watch it. It's pretty interesting. Mm. Yeah. Let me put that down. So,
We I think you probably were you step out earlier when we talk about having the setting options for different type of users, whether they can rearrange the order or the sequence of the media file to be played. Um, so the question now is, where should Mike was talking about having all this stored in the local device, but where can we store those user information? Because I don't think this is immediately implemented with OpenMS yet.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we don't have yet. Um, I don't know.
It's in terms of the technical aspect of it, I feel like it should, considering the scenarios and the places that the app would be used, would probably be somewhere where they don't have immediate access to the internet. So I feel like there should be a
Local.
local. And I don't think local storage is a big deal in terms of, because since it's a web app, HTML5 storage is what, like 5 MB?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be anywhere near that I foresee.
Yeah.
But in terms of storage for the videos on the, I guess on the device, it would be on the, No, I guess it would still be, that wouldn't be. Do you know if there's an app download limitation or like threshold that an app can download if it's a web app or something?
Um, no, I don't think there's any restriction.
Okay.
Well, I think last time I kind of found out that you can only download like 2 GB on Chrome or something, or upload. I think it's upload. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Upload shouldn't be an issue, I don't
Yeah, I
think.
don't think so.
Yeah. Because the only thing being sent is a result, and that's going to be.
Pretty small.
Yeah. So that shouldn't be an issue. I guess what I don't remember was whether or not the local storage was limited to. Well, actually, since this is one web app, I'm assuming it would be limited to the entire scope of the app is 5 MB. So I would assume once it's sent up to the server and confirmed that it's on there, it would be deleted to make room for the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'd be a 5 MB limit. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we can persist it locally
Mhm.
as a file or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Permanently or?
Permanently.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I haven't done, in terms of the web app, I haven't done the local. I haven't tried anything in terms of the storage, whether or not I do it through the app HTML through like using HTML5 storage, or doing it like passing something from the app to like a Java function that would save it anywhere on the tablet. Because with the previous app that I worked on, the videos were actually installed manually in the videos folder of the tablet, and it would just queue those based on hard-coded links. But I would assume this, since it's more dynamic, and we'd have to have more of a download capability,
Yeah.
it'd probably be saved in a specialized location, which I believe, this is an issue of permissions. I don't know whether or not, that would probably be a Java thing to download that. Just trigger a Java function to download that file onto a specified storage area that this app knows about and queues. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the question is whether or not the what's handling what, whether or not it's going to be the HTML side of it or the Java side of it. And I'm assuming that a lot of the local storage and Java things it'd be optimal if the Java side handled it, because I feel like the Java side would have more, unless I'm mistaken, more permissions and leeway when it came to download and upload and file system modifications. Not file systems, but yeah, file systems. What I'm thinking of. But correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not too sure about the how rooted the whatever I do in JavaScript passing along would be onto the file system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay.
Any more comments? Okay. Thank you so much, Mike, for doing the demo.
Yeah,
It's
no
really
problem.
helpful to see it.
Cool.
And then we can summarize, some suggestions or to-do items, and then circulate through email.
I'm sorry?
We're going to summarize the remaining task,
Uh-huh.
and then circulate through email.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Well, 80,000.